We now have a $5 tier, which is now how you join our weekly Q&A. So at the end of every report every week, there's a Q&A that comes from our patrons. If you want to ask some of those questions, we now have that set up for just the smallest Patreon tier. So if you want to support us on Patreon, you can now join for just $5. Now, as for the $10 tier, we used to do ad-free segments, so we would get rid of these promos, but we're not just doing that, we're also keeping in a lot of the things that we cut out. So for those who don't know, most surveillance reports are probably around an hour and a half, and then we slim that down to halfway through. And that kind of sucks because it loses a lot of the nuance, and it also cuts out some of the complexity behind some of the stories, as well as some of our discussions about the stories. And so patrons who are on the $10 a month tier get access to promo free and also the extended version. So you get more of the behind the scenes look of how we look at things and how we talk about things back here before it all gets trimmed down for YouTube. And so check it out, all in the description.
So this week's promo segment, we're going to do something a little different. First, we do want to remind you guys, there's Patreon, LibrePay, and Monero. Go ahead and check those out. Those are great ways to support us.
Yeah. Well, if you want to ask us anything, people, that is appropriate, definitely go ahead and join our Patreon. We just released our lowest tier, which is just $5. So just for $5 a month, you not only get to support this free podcast, which we publish every week for free for the world, so you all can be caught up with the latest privacy and security news, but also you get to ask us questions, and there's other cool perks there, especially in the $10 tier, if you want access to our more thorough discussions. Today was definitely a rambly discussion, and we probably have a lot more things that are going to be included in the episode that we publish for our patrons in the $10 tier. So definitely check all that out down in the description.
Again, this podcast, you know, we don't have any sponsors, and honestly, I like it that way. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I get tired of making the same promo spiel every week, but I like that we don't have any sponsors. That's really cool. So if you guys want to keep it that way, Patreon gives you the most perks in exchange for continual support. You can be part of the Q&A and ask a really good question like Log Off did this week. That was a really good one.
We have our promo segment, as always, patreon.com/surveillancepod. You can support us on Patreon to keep this podcast going for free to the world. You also get a lot of cool perks if you do that, like an extended version where we rant a lot more and have a lot more details on some of the stories that we don't publish in the public version. And we also remove segments like these. We also have a Q&A that you can enter, which will be found later in this episode, but you will be able to ask questions if you are on our Patreon. And if you don't like Patreon, which is very valid, we also support LibrePay, and we also support Monero. Monero is a very private way of supporting us, though we cannot offer you any perks, just like LibrePay, and Monero is probably the most private method that we offer. So if you want to support us privately, check out Monero, and all of those will be down in the description. We appreciate all of your support. All right, and that is it for the week. If you wanted to ask a question, anything that is appropriate, definitely join our Patreon. It's down in the description, and you might be one of the questions that we answer next week. We normally answer, as of right now, we're answering pretty much every question. But if we get like too many, then we might have to limit them. But still, like, definitely go ahead and ask us a question. It's kind of a cool opportunity. We don't have many questions yet, so yours will probably be featured.